Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a quick, easy summer makeup look. I don't know what it is about summer, but it just seems like this is the time of year when I have the most kind of last minute events or spur of the moment. Hey, you wanna go grab a coffee? Hey, you wanna go this? And usually I need to throw on a little bit of makeup. So today's look is going to be kind of with that theme in mind. Also, here in Southern California, our heat is officially on. It's over 100 degrees right now. Oh my goodness. So the products that I have chosen are also meant to be long wearing, heat, humidity resistant, including the new Bare Pro powder foundation. Yes, we're going powder today. So if you're new here, be sure you hit that subscribe button. Now let's get started. First of all, super important is an eyeshadow primer, and the Thrive Cosmetics 360 Eye Lift is one of the longest wearing for me. It's also waterproof. So this is going to hold up under most all circumstances. Now, while that sits, I'm gonna go ahead and put on some plumping lip gloss. I love to do this. I always like to add a little extra fullness and moisture to my lips while I'm getting ready, whether it's a 10-minute get ready with me or 30 minutes. This is the Lorac Holy Lips Plumper. It's a little more tingly than the Buxom. If you don't like tingly, you won't like this, but so far so good. Now, one more step before we go back to the eyes is I want to add a little bit of powder through my brows and get my brows done and out of the way. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter Setting Powder, and I'm just using the brush that I'm going to use later to set my concealer in place. And because I'm using a powder foundation, that is going to go on kind of towards the end. So I want to get my brows done. You know, it's not my favorite part anyway. I'm using the NYX Precision Brow Pencil in taupe, and I'm at the very end of this pencil. I think I'll have enough for today. So when I'm in a hurry, I like to do my brows kind of at the front, because that is, for me, an essential thing that I feel like I need to have, whether I'm wearing a full face of makeup or something lighter. But when I'm going for quick, I usually am a little less precise on my brows, and I try to just keep it to a minimum fill in. So bringing up that arch a little bit, I start there, and then kind of go below the brow, and then fill in any sparse areas. Now I will add a brow gel, but I'm gonna wait until after I do powder or foundation, because I don't like to have powder in my brows after I've done brow gel. All right, for eyeshadow palette today, I chose a smaller palette. I like to do this when I'm in a hurry because I feel like it keeps my creativity level a little more balanced. So I chose the new Sigma Warm Neutrals 7 pan shadow palette. They do have a 14 pan shadow palette of the same name. They've recently come out with 4 of these, and I will be doing a video all about them with swatches of each. But I just think this is great for travel, and pretty much all of them have a good balance of crease colors and deeper shades. Now, I wasn't sure if this would be dark enough, but it is. So we're gonna stick with this today. Now, there isn't a matte brow bone highlight shade in there, and you could pull in whatever shade you have. I'm just gonna go to my setting powder with my Sigma E50 and just put a little bit of this. This not only gives a little bit of brightness, but it is going to make our crease blending so much easier. All right, and now we're gonna go to the palette, and I'm gonna go in with this shade. It seems really light, but it does build up. It's called Passion Fruit, and I'm using the Sigma M504. I mean, look at how much color comes from that. I think these shadows are so good in both the full size and these little ones. I've tried 2 of the little ones, and these shadows seem to be the same quality as the bigger ones. But I'm just quickly putting that all through the crease. Now, some of you are like, Shirley, that's kind of pink. Well, there is a taupey brown color. But what I have learned, if I'm gonna do a quick look, personally, it looks better on me if I have just a little bit of color rather than just kind of brown through the crease. It still has a little bit of interest, but it's not too crazy. All right, now I'm going to take this flat small shader brush. This is the E57 from Sigma, and I'm going to go in now with a combination of these two shades, which are Henna and Rogue. And I am first going to just kind of press a little bit of that here in the outer corner. And so you can see, I mean, we're getting some depth, but it's not overly dark. The full palette does have a couple of darker shades, so if you prefer a little more depth, you can get one of those. But see how nice that is? All right, and that's quick and easy. And I am just pressing that onto the lid. I am tapping off my brush. Many of you have asked how to keep that fallout from happening. That's one way. All right, now I'm going to take the tip of that brush and go in both of those, tap off. And now we're going to use this just along the lash line a little bit. I'm going about halfway across, and then we can touch it up later. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the M504 and going to dip in that first shade, Passion Fruit, and just a touch in Henna. And just going to blend the edge of those outer corner shades together. See how soft that is? All right. Now, you could skip this step if you don't have issues with long wear, if it's not super hot where you are, but I am going to go in with one extra step. I'm using the Bobbi Brown shadow stick on my lid. This is the shade Golden Pink. You can use whatever lighter color, shimmery shade you have. I have a video all about how to keep your eyeshadow from melting down, and this is one of the tips that I share. But I just like to put down a base and then go over it with powder shadow, and that really locks everything in place. This palette has a beautiful, soft, vibrant shade. It's called Charmer. I mean, look how bright that is. Oh my goodness. So very brightening, and I'm just going to tap that on with my finger over the top of that shadow stick. So easy. And then one last time with the E57, I'll go back in with a combination of these two shades on the tip of my brush. And now I'll just bring a little bit of color right at the lash line. And this is just going to add a little more fullness of the lashes, or the look of fullness. And then I'll just brush the edge of that shimmer shade with this brush. It just kind of blends it all together. All right, lower lash line is where we're going to add a little bit of actual liner. This is a new pencil I'm in love with from KIKO Milano, and it's dual-ended. It's called Lasting Dual Eye Pencil, and I have the shade 01. On the one side is a kind of shimmery taupe color. I thought it was like Mushroom. It's similar from Mushroom from Urban Decay, but this one has a little more purple. And then on the other side is a matte taupe, and it's like a grayed brown. I really love it. So I'm going to use a little bit of this in the lower lash line, in the roots of my lashes, and then go right below it. And then I will switch the pencil over to the matte side and go right up against the lashes and just darken this outermost edge. I'm not bringing this all the way in. This is going to actually open up the eyes a little bit. Now this pencil I have found to stay so well even without setting it with powder. So that's why I've chosen that. If you have real troubles with watery eyes, you may want to set it with powder or add a little eyeshadow primer under there, but this one stays so well. Okay, we're going to clean up under the eyes. I really don't have a whole lot of fallout. Actually, I hardly have any, we'll see. But I always do this just to add a little extra moisture under the eyes, even when I'm in a hurry. If I skip this step, my concealer looks horrible. So, All right, since I'm using a powder foundation, I am going to go in with concealer and corrector next. We got to get all of our creams out of the way. So I'm using the Revlon 5-in-1 concealer and corrector. So this is the neutralizing shade 001. I'm just going to go in with a little bit of this first. And again, this is a step that's necessary for me. If you don't have super dark circles, you could skip corrector and probably just go in with a little bit of concealer. This makes such a difference. And even though it's a yellow-based corrector, I find it works really well. Then I'm gonna go in with my concealer, also the Revlon 5-in-1 concealer, and I'm using the shade 040 because I put on Sunless Tanner last night and I am pretty dark. So if I don't have as much Sunless Tanner, I like the shade 025. And I'm going to start working that in with my fingers, and then I'll finish with a brush. And I think I'll add a little bit the bridge of my nose here. This will probably get covered up with foundation, but just add a little bit of brightness. All right, for foundation, this is actually my first trial of the new formulation of the Bare Pro 16-hour powder foundation. Now quickly, I'll just tell you what it says on the box. Breathable, full coverage powder foundation provides sweat, humidity, and transfer resistant 16-hour wear with a natural matte finish, visibly even skin tone and texture over time to perfect the look of bare skin, non-drying and absorbs oil. Can be used wet or dry, and this is a clean formula. The first time they came out with this, I was actually perplexed because they had talc in it, and that was one thing Bare Minerals never did. Well, they took the talc out. I am using the shade Medium 30 Warm, and I'm gonna go in with this huge buffing brush. This is the BK Beauty 105. I love to, if I'm using a powder foundation, I want it done quickly. So I'm going to press on first a layer, and then later I will buff it on. Now, all that I have on my face right now, I have my normal skincare, and then I chose to use the Australian Gold sunscreen. I'll show you applying that earlier today. And I applied the shade Medium Tan. This shade might be a little dark for me, even with my sunless tanned body, but we'll see here. Okay, and then I'm going to just dust a little bit down my neck to just help make sure it all blends seamlessly. That was really fast. Pretty good coverage. I'm waiting for my face to kind of calm down. Sometimes, you know, after you've been beating it with a brush, it gets a little red, so we'll see here. All right, while that sets, I'm gonna go back and set the under eye. I'm going to tap out any creasing that I have, and I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder again today, and I'm using, this is a Sedona Lace 313. It's not available anymore, but any kind of small fluffy brush will work. Okay, now for the rest of my face products, I always feel like it's easier to use a face palette. For whatever reason, face palettes are always the limited edition and they get discontinued. So I did look up and I found this Benefit Horoscope Fire Queen. I did still find this available at belk.com, but that's about it. But as I was going through all of my other face palettes that are my favorites, they're all gone as well. So if you have the Hourglass, this is the Universe palette from Christmas time. You could use that. This KIKO Blossoming Beauty, I love this because this is face and eye palette. So if you have this, use that. Charlotte Tilbury face palettes are also a great option because they do include eyeshadows. This is the Instant Look of Love in a Palette Pretty Blushed Beauty. This might still be available, but I decided I'm going to use this Benefit one because a lot of these shades are available individually. So you don't have to use a face palette, but I just think it's quicker. All right, let's go in with Hula as my contour. And I'm using the F05 from Sigma. And you can see I'm doing contour and I'm brushing it kind of up towards where I would also apply bronzer. This is one of the few shades. It's matte and it has a cooler tone, but I still feel like this works great as a bronzer as well. So multitasking, bronzer and contour. It's getting really hot in this room too. I have my fan off because it's a little noisy, but whoo, man. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit along the corner or the edge of my nose here too. Next, I'm gonna go in with a combination of these two blush shades. They're so pretty. This one is more of a matte finish called Starlit, and then this one is Solstice, has a little glow. So I'm using this new brush from Sigma. It's the F10 blush brush. I'm gonna start off first with that lighter pink kind of matte shade. Get some color here. And then I'm going to go in with the shade right below it. This can pack a punch, so I'm just going to go in. I love this brush. It's so soft and really allows you to control how much blush you're applying. And I love the pink tones. So we're tying in our crease color and our blush. It makes it very cohesive. And then because my under eye area, see how light it's looking? I don't want to end up with it that light. I'm going to take my Sedona brush and I am just going to lightly tap a little bit of the Bare Pro foundation over the under eye area, just so we don't have quite so light of under eyes. Now, since I am such an oily girl, I'm also going to add a little bit of the Bare Minerals. This is the original Mineral Veil. They also have one with SPF. I also use that at times. I'm just going to use the original today, and this does not add any coverage, but it does perfect the skin, and it does help keep oil under control. This is also a great touch-up powder, believe it or not. Okay, I don't feel like I have too much powder on my brow, so I'm going right in with the brow gel. This is the Merit Brow Pomade in Blonde. And then I also love the Thrive Cosmetics Brow Gel. That one is, I believe it has water resistance. The color, the tone is not necessarily ideal for my current hair color, but I do also love that one and recommend it. I have the shade Audrey in that one, but this blonde shade is perfect for the tone of my hair. And you can see my brows are not like perfect, but it's okay. It's okay for today. Now it's time to curl the lashes. And I'm going to add just a little bit of inner corner highlight before I apply my mascara. And then I just want a tiny little touch of this gold shade. It is called Bittersweet. It's really pigmented. I don't want tons, but I just want to kind of warm up that pink. I talk about this a lot, but can you see a difference between this and this? Because I have warmer tones to my skin, sometimes those cooler shades can look a little harsh. So look at that. Isn't that amazing? Oh, yes, perfect. Okay. Let's add some mascara. Now, if you saw my makeup meltdown video, you know why I prefer to use a tubing mascara on the lower lashes. I don't typically use it on my upper lashes because I love a fuller, more voluminous look on the upper lashes. But for today, for just that lighter makeup and less products, less steps, we're going to just use this on upper and lower. So this is the Caloray mascara. And it has a thinner wand, which usually helps me be a little more precise with my application. We'll see. But I'm just going to apply this to upper and lower lashes. All right, I fixed my hair and I put in some earrings. That always makes me feel a little more put together. All right, couple final steps. I'm going to go back to this palette and just add a touch of highlighter. Just felt like I was missing that extra bit of glow. Yes, this is what we need. just to find a little extra touch. All right, for lips, I am super excited to share the lipstick with you. First, we're gonna start with a little bit of MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. For lip liner, I'm gonna use the Smashbox Be Legendary Lip Liner in Deep Mauve. This is one of the longest lasting liners. And then I am going to feather that just a little bit. All right, the lipstick I'm going to use today is from CoverGirl. I showed these in my recent vlog. My best friend and I discovered these. These are amazing. Now, it's hard to figure out what they're actually called because there's nothing on the product itself with its actual name, but they're simply ageless lip core lipsticks or something. Basically because they have a core in the center that has hyaluronic acid and some other great ingredients. Now, I thought these would just be like a slippery balm and just come right off. No, these are some of the most long-wearing yet super comfortable lipsticks. I have 3 shades. Today I'm going to combine 2. So I'm going to start with Amazing Petal. Swatch that on my hand. It's a very blue-toned, slightly frosty, shimmery pink. There's no glitter particles or anything, but it does have that little bit of glow. But because I want to warm it up a little bit, I'm going to go over it with a neutral, more neutral shade. This is called Elegant Nude. And this one still has quite a bit of rosy tones to it, but that's what it looks like compared. There's no shimmer or frostiness in this particular shade, but that is those 2 combined. All right, here's our finished look. And even though I skipped some of my normal products and normal steps, I still feel completely pulled together and ready for whatever event I might need to rush out the door for. Now, this is a look that if I'm not explaining and talking about new things, I can pull together easily in about 10 to 15 minutes without feeling like my heart is pounding, you know, and rushing through everything. Now, some of you say, Shirley, I only want 5-minute tutorials. Well, I have a couple of those. I've got 5-minute, 10-minute, that is time. So you can check out those. I'll list those in the description box below. But overall, the skin feels really amazingly lightweight right now. And I don't feel like my makeup is at all close to melting off my face. So I am excited to continue using the Bare Pro foundation. I'm going to visit my brother soon in Georgia, and you know how hot and humid it can be there in the summer, so I'm definitely taking this to put it to the test. Now, if you don't have super oily skin, but you want to test out a powder foundation, I still feel like the original Bare Minerals foundation is a great one. And in fact, I've recently been pulling that out for a quick look, and it's held up quite well on my combo skin for a good 8 hours. So check that one out if you're not quite wanting the oil absorbing and matte finish that this one has. Now, another key I feel like with powder foundation is to use some kind of silicone-based primer, or what I did today is I used this sunscreen, and this is a silicone-based sunscreen. So it has a little bit of that slippery primer feel, and this holds up so well in humid, hot climates too. So that would be another recommendation. If you're going to use a powder foundation, try out a sunscreen kind of like this that you know stays in place and is not going to melt down through the day. So as always, all of the products I used today will be listed and linked in the description box below, along with other 5 and 10-minute tutorials. So if you're interested in more of these quicker looks, check out the description box below. Thank you as always so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.